Welcome to episode 189 of Timm Talk, the podcast about the DC animated universe, co-created by Bruce Timm. I'm Chris Lord.
I'm Cameron Dexter.
And we're back this week with some more Justice League Unlimited, continuing the streak of, I'd say, pretty damn good episodes so far, or at least one of the two for me.
I mean, they're both for me. You know how much I love both Arthurian and Greek legends.
The nice thing about this is I had to do minimal research because I knew you would.
I spent a good time ready for these episodes.
Your compulsion to know information about TV tropes, Arthurian legends, and Greek mythology far outweighs your lack of effort you want to put into this podcast, and I knew I didn't have to do anything.
I have to talk about it.
I know you do.
I can't not get into it.
It's really perfect for me, actually.
Yeah.
If only every episode could be this stuff with those things.
I mean, next week's all you.
It is?
With Batman singing.
How is that in my wheelhouse?
I don't know. I feel like it's more Casablanca than my tropes.
What does that have to do with Casablanca?
They sing by a piano.
Yeah.
It's moody.
Sure, okay.
They don't do that in Kids Next Door.
Do they not?
I don't think so.
Oh, you would know.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't. But oh yeah, so this week we're covering episode 3, Kid Stuff, and episode 4, Hawk and Dove.
Yes.
So I mean, let's just get right into it.
I'm ready.
All right,
Are you
ready?
Yeah. Where do you want me to start with this?
All right, so starting off with Kid Stuff. So in this episode, our old friend / enemy Mordred uses the Amulet of First Magic, which is the source of all magic on Earth, to banish all adults from the world. So Morgan Le Fay turns Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, and Green Lantern into kids so they can return to Earth and defeat her son.
Incredible.
I have one big question for you. Why does this episode work? Like, why is it so good? This should be considered one of the worst episodes in all of the DCAU, and honestly, it's one of my favorites.
Because these episodes always work. I have a list. I have a list. We'll get to it at the end of this. But these kinds of like adults to kids or Fountain of Youth episodes are always good.
They are?
They are. I looked at the list.
Okay.
And I couldn't find one. They're also weirdly like only an American trope.
Really?
Yeah, you know, I have extensive anime history.
This is true.
And even looking through like a list of shows that introduce the Fountain of Youth trope, like almost no animes use this. Or like no Japanese animations use this as like a crutch, like American animation. American animation does.
Is that just because in America we're obsessed with youth and are afraid of dying?
Well, I think yes. I think it's more like I feel like the Fountain of Youth is an American myth. I mean, I know it's mostly rooted in like Spain and Spanish and Western European stuff. But like a lot of accounts, it's in the Americas is where the Fountain of Youth and the City of Gold are.
Oh, that's fair, yeah.
Most of the time they're, you know, either separate or the same thing. Mm-hmm. But it's either like just off of Florida is where some people have placed the Fountain of Youth, which, you know, doesn't make any sense.
Because that's where the old go to die?
Yes. It's where all the retirement centers are.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like it's a very American known trope. Above anything else.
I guess that's fair. I guess I never really considered it outside of like American lore and mythology, but I suppose you're right. Like the only other thing I've seen of late that used the Fountain of Youth was DuckTales. I finally watched the 3rd season of DuckTales, and I had to look it up real quick, but the Forbidden Fountain of the Forever Glades.
That's good.
Because I was trying to remember, is Ponce de Leon, is he normally associated with the Fountain of Youth?
That sounds right.
I mean, I know that he was in that episode because he was also a lion, which was just brilliant.
Very good.
Yes.
Well, because who's the one associated with the City of Gold?
I have no idea.
Cool. Great.
Yeah, you're right.
We've gone a step beyond the scope of what I prepared for.
That's like me asking you a James Bond question. Like, you should know this, Cameron. Why are you asking me? I should know.
Okay, I
you know mythology and legends and shit very well.
I'm trying to think of, like, all the lyrics from Road to El Dorado.
Oh, please don't. We'll be here forever. Absolutely forever. But, okay, so
here's our guest, Elton John, here to sing.
To clarify for everyone, this episode doesn't actually use the literal Fountain of Youth, but this TV trope is referred to the Fountain of Youth as when older characters de-age down to young kids again.
Yes.
Or just younger in general.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it is so much fun.
I mean, this one is really, really fun. And I was because I remember last week I was criticizing the intros, the little snippets of like the episode we get in the intros because it tends to spoil things. So I watched very close. I'm like, wait, does the intro give away what happens? And it doesn't. It actually masks it very cleverly.
There's one shot it does. The very last one in the montage is the kid Green Lantern in the green mech suit.
Right, but
but you see him very briefly in the corner. You see Kid Green Lantern.
Right, yeah, but he's inside the suit, so you don't see him full body. So there's really no shots that would make it obvious they're going to turn into kids, which that was very smart on their part. Because I do remember watching this when it aired, and that being a fun surprise. Like, I was not expecting, because this is a very silly concept in a universe that's otherwise taken itself mostly fairly seriously, or at least it had an earnest tone to it all the way through. And this is like kind of up there with Mr. and Mrs. Picklick as like the most out there gonzo weird thing they've done.
Mm-hmm. I think the biggest thing they did, which I was very glad, because I didn't remember a lot of this episode besides the like that moment, is the reason I think it worked so well and it didn't take itself seriously is with the de-aging, they also like de-age their personalities.
Yes.
Where a lot of the times you see this trope, they're still adult mentally, just in a kid body.
You're right. Yeah, that's not the case.
And that would
here.
not have worked this way.
Yeah, they have. You're right. Yeah, they have their knowledge and understanding they do as adults, but they have been put into kid personas. They'll act like little kids.
Yes.
Which I think they all do a really good job with this. I think my favorite though is that we finally get to see the super nerdy part of Green Lantern that we always know is behind the background, but he just buries deep down and tries to be the macho guy all the time.
Yeah.
Whereas this version, he's got the glasses. He's just always trying to come up with new constructs he can create. How happy were you in this? His whole arc in this episode is coming up with the wildest and ridiculous constructs.
This would be my problem if I ever got a Green Lantern ring.
Yes.
Is I would never be able to decide on a single construct.
You would be a terrible Green Lantern.
I would. It would have nothing to do with the situation.
Like, you have boundless imagination, which should help. But it's like untethered, unrestrained.
Well, it would be that the one scene people shine a good light on from the Green Lantern movie would be how I would work it out is when Carol's falling and he turns, I think the car into a giant Hot Wheels track for her. Do you know?
I've never seen Green Lantern.
Oh my gosh. Okay, it's the only good scene in the movie.
Well, yeah.
Either like a plane is crashing or a car is crashing, and instead of like stopping it, Hal creates a giant Hot Wheels track to slowly slow the vehicle down.
That's amazing.
Which like takes up an entire roof. And everyone's like, why didn't you just stop it? It's like, because you got to plug the Hot Wheels toys. That's why.
That's very true. You do. But okay, so like what, because you do raise a good point that they still have their personalities. What about that works here in this episode? It's like I'm legitimately trying to answer this question of why does this episode work when it shouldn't?
I think it is from an outside perspective, it is a kid's cartoon.
Yeah,
kids seeing themselves save the day is always a good thing.
Yeah,
but it's kind of like what you just said. It's showing all the underlying feelings that are kind of blocked with adult problems. We have Green Lantern showing off his creative side, his nerdy side. You have Wonder Woman and Batman having their kind of romance shining through, which John has a great line of like, you have 50 kinds of vision and you're still blind to that.
Yeah, because Superman just doesn't see what's going on.
Yeah,
he's just a good old boy.
I think there's one line at the end which kind of I'm kind of upset with a little bit, and it's Batman being like, I haven't been a kid since I was 8. Oh,
because there's a huge buzzkill in the whole episode?
Yeah, but like when he's a kid, he's fun. Like he's a fun kid. He's still the serious one.
Yeah.
But I think because he doesn't have like, you can't be brooding with a high-pitched voice like that.
No, you can't.
And I think the other three kind of play on that joke. And then also like having the joke that a girl's mature faster and Wonder Woman being slightly taller than everyone else.
Yeah, she's
fully rubbing it in.
Yeah, she's a little bit taller than everyone, and she just takes charge all the time.
Yeah.
She's like, all of you shut up. Here's what we're going to do. Don't fight me on this. And everyone's like, okay.
Well, because it would also make sense that she's been training since she was a child.
Yeah,
so
that's
she
true.
would have the most experience at that point.
Yeah. She's also the oldest.
Yes.
She's an immortal.
So with that point, my flaw with this episode,
Yeah.
Mordred's wording for the spell
Yes.
was get rid of everyone who's older than me.
Yes.
Mordred is roughly 1,500 years old.
Yeah, I guess we're going with his artificially
his
stagnated
physical
age. Yes.
Because I was trying to think who would actually be teleported to the other dimension. It would pretty much just be Morgan, Etrigan, and Vandal.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
And some of the Themyscirians.
because even if you think about how it ends, where Batman tricks him into aging himself up, then he disappears. But based on the literal interpretation of the wish,
Right.
that's just the new age, and anyone older than him would disappear. But it should reset to his new age, but it doesn't.
Right.
So it's or like. It's a little bit weird because the kids are the kid versions of themselves, to your point. Like they're the 8-year-old versions, but they still have all of the memories and capabilities they do of their adult age. Like, for example, if Superman were 8 again, he wouldn't have his full suite of powers, theoretically.
Right.
But whatever.
Yeah.
It's
And
magic. Magic has weird rules.
Superman, also trying to be the boss. Because
Yeah.
I think why this episode works is you have the 4 characters that basically are the highest authority on Earth
Yeah.
in this sector, and you are now making them the low status characters to bring in our improv conversations.
Of course.
Because there's a lot of those jokes that pop out. Like there's the 2 kids having the sword fight, and Superman comes up, he's like, "Hey, quit that!"
Yeah.
And like, why should we listen to you? And he lasers the ground. He's like, because I'm the kid with the laser vision. That's why you listen to me.
It is fun to see that the more kid-like sides of them come through. So we talk about like Wonder Woman kind of being like, oh, I'm in charge here. Or like Batman is still Batman, but he's snarky. Like he really emphasizes the snarkiness of it. Like I love that he keeps referring to Mordred as precious. Like he still knows how to do like the twist of the knife, but it's just a little bit more petty than it would be if he were an adult.
It was exactly how you would mess with someone on the playground.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
They're playground insults.
He's basically just like a playground bully.
Yeah, which is exactly what he would be.
But it is also cute to see that you're right. Like when you don't have the filters that come with being an adult on these versions of them, like the flirtation between Bruce and Diana is much more obvious, especially her being much more flirtatious with him and Bruce not knowing how to react. Like even when GL says, "Oh, your girlfriend's pretty bossy," he's just like, "Shut up."
Yeah, not denying it, which
Not
was
denying
great.
it, yeah. It's really cute, but you're right. Bruce does kind of bring the whole thing down to the end. It's like, oh yeah, I haven't been a kid since I was 8 years old. And Wonder Woman was just like,
Cool.
okay, I'm just gonna go now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little bit of an awkward beat. But I mean, it does encapsulate who he is, right? He's serious again. He's back to his old self, and he's, got to just be the fucking buzzkill all the time.
I know, because there's one moment that I thought was very funny. It's when they're first teleported to the adult dimension, and everyone's like, "Oh, what's this?" Like, Copperhead thinking they're in hell.
Yeah.
And then Batman's the first to be like, "There's no kids here." I'm like, "Oh yeah, you Robin hunting motherfucker." So you're just trying to find your next prey.
He's always on the lookout.
Yeah. It's like, no wonder you're the one to call this out.
Well, he just knows that whenever he goes to hell, he'll be surrounded by an army of dead Robins.
Yeah. Yeah, he's prepared.
I have to say, though, I think my favorite part of this whole episode, though, and it's something that I had forgotten was in it, was Baby Etrigan. So cute.
Incredible.
Like, they took the idea and they took it one step further, and it still works. It's the actual baby version of him, and it's just adorable because he's just kind of like waddling around and belching fire. And I love when Wonder Woman just like scolds him to his face and he starts crying. And she just picks him up and gives him a little burp. It's like he's just a baby. That's all he wanted.
Yeah. Well, it's also great because it's like reversing expectations. Like
Yeah.
it's the Rancor pit of like what they're
You're
trying
right.
to set up. It's the kids versus the monster.
Yeah.
And the monster being this baby Etrigan.
Baby Etrigan.
Which he's so cute. And of course saves the
Yes.
day in the end, which is even more adorable.
And then, of course, when they all turn into adults again and Wonder Woman's still holding him, it's adults as Etrigan.
Yeah.
He just mutters mommy and she drops him and walks away.
Which like is uncharacteristic of Etrigan, but we
Right.
let it go
We're
because that's
just-
so cute.
Exactly. It's just it keeps playing through the adorableness of it all. The nice little button there. What did you think about their version of Disneyland?
It was fine. It looked very boring.
What was it called? It was like
Oh,
Funzy Land or something.
Something like that. I
Yeah.
didn't write that one down.
How dare you?
Well, I was what I was distracted by before that point. If anyone can go back and watch the episode, please look at this because it's scary. Is when they first start wiping the adults, they wipe a teacher in a classroom.
Yeah.
And in the corner of the classroom is this terrifying, like too realistic for this art style drawing of George W. Bush.
I saw that. Yeah.
I couldn't stop looking at it. I don't know what background artist was working on that, but you went a little too hard on that.
A little too realistic.
Yeah. Well, because like for this world, everyone has a look.
Yeah.
Like there's a very specific style to the Bruce Timm look, and that did not fit the style.
I mean, I guess if you think about it, it's not too often that a background artist is also drawing a character.
That's true.
Yeah. So maybe that artist just wasn't quite as trained up on how to do the Bruce Timm style. But you're right, it was a little bit distracting off in the corner there. Like, oh, that looks, I mean, it's like identical to him.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they just traced his like presidential portrait.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Did you have, because I feel like I see this trope a lot in animation. Did you have, growing up, pictures of the president in your classrooms?
I think I vaguely recall in one of them. But I would have been really young, so I think Clinton would have been the most recent one on there.
Mm-hmm.
I think, I mean, again, I think I do, but do I actually remember that? Or do I think I remember that because I've seen stuff like this so many
Right.
times? Or like, you know, for various productions, like as a PA, I've gone in, we've been in like a classroom, and I think I've seen one maybe there before. So it's like, did I actually have one as a kid or not? But I'm pretty sure I've seen one in real life at least once.
Okay.
I take it you didn't?
I don't remember ever having one.
Which is kind of surprising.
We would have the like in like social studies, you had like the banner of all the presidents, the kind of like at the top of the room.
Yeah.
I had that, but never like
that. Oh, okay, yeah.
not like a singular portrait.
Oh, okay. No. Sorry, you're right.
Not our Lord and Commander on the wall, George W.
You're right. I don't remember ever being in a classroom where there's a singular portrait of the current sitting president. But yes, I thought you were referring to just presidential portraits in general. And yeah, we had like the banner of all of them. Okay, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, never just the one.
Yeah.
Could you imagine if that was a thing the last few years?
Oh God.
Fucking horrifying.
Yeah.
Jesus. But you're right. I think their version of Disneyland did look very boring. It was like a medieval town.
Yeah.
Basically, I mean, they had some of the pieces there. They were really focusing on just more like the Magic Kingdom part of it. So they had like the castle. Obviously, they had King Arthur's sword in the stone.
I think it was the carousel. King Arthur's
I
carousel.
think they had the carousel. Yeah, but I love then when Mordred comes in and changes it to be more his aesthetic. It's basically just what if Tim Burton designed Disneyland?
Yeah. Well, did you ever see Dismal Land?
No.
It was
Banksy, right?
Yes.
Okay.
It was a video he did a couple years ago, and it's like a 2-minute trailer for Dismal Land, and it's just the very sad, like, I can't say over corporate because that's already Disney.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, just doom and gloom Disneyland.
Like, what were some of the rides?
I don't even remember anymore. I just remember there was like I think there's the moat around the castle, and I think it was just like a tar pit, and there was like dead ducks in there.
Okay, yeah, that fits.
Yeah.
Like instead of a log flume, it's like a garbage chute or something, or
Something like that.
yeah.
Yeah. It came out before my Disney indoctrination.
Oh, okay.
So I did not pay as close attention as I would have now.
Sometimes it's hard for you to remember that there was a period when you weren't Disney indoctrinated.
Yeah,
As
from you.
As you sit there in your Spider-Man hat and Stitch shirt,
Yes.
both of which are adorable, by the way.
Thank you.
Yes. Wait, did you get that hat from the new ride?
I did.
Oh, it's a good hat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had to get some merch when I was there.
That's fair. You didn't get the $50 Spider-Man gauntlets?
I didn't, but I got the $60 goggles.
That's the worst one.
It is the worst
It's the worst one to get.
I was told before I got to the park, not from a cast member, I should have double checked.
Yeah.
But I was told it was supposed to like interact with the park somehow.
How?
I thought it would have like I thought it would be like some kind of 3D glasses, and I could wear those on the ride instead of the ugly 3D glasses.
Oh, okay.
And I would like see something different. And it was not how it works.
No.
They're just weird emotion glasses.
They're just weird, like blinking Spider-Man lenses that also protrude so far away from your face and have a massive battery pack on the back.
Yes.
Just to be cumbersome and uncomfortable.
But it does make for a fun game because you have no vision when you wear them.
No, you don't.
I tried to walk around Disney in them. That was a great game
Of course you did.
of how many steps can I take before I hit something.
I love that you bought the one thing that doesn't actually help you at all on the ride.
Yes. The one thing.
The one thing. Everything else does. Well
Yes.
done.
We haven't talked about any of the Marvel stuff yet on the pod.
No. Do
I
we need to?
I can wait.
Okay.
It'll slowly seep out through the next couple episodes.
Because the thing is, I want to make sure we have plenty of room for you to talk about the Fountain of Youth TV trope.
Yes.
Because, I mean, I don't know what else I really have to say about this episode other than it's just super fun.
Yeah. There is no other plot after that. It's Mordred. I do love that he's like still trying to be a king.
Yeah.
And so even when he's in the castle, he does not the boring, but like he sees it as the droll king duties of like granting wishes to his peasants.
Yep.
Because that is what a king is supposed to do.
He is, yeah. So he like gives them toys, or in the case,
cow.
a cow in the case of a crying baby.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Like, there really isn't that much plot or story here. It's just they go back and then they fight Mordred a bit. There's some just kind of generic action sequences, and then Batman eventually realizes, I can just trick him to becoming old again, and this will solve everything. And it does. And like the big button on the end there is that Mordred has undone the eternal youth spell that he's had, so now he just has eternal life.
Mm-hmm.
And so the very last shot is Morgan Le Fay feeding a very old, frail man who was once little baby, whiny, precious Mordred.
Yeah, it was sad.
It is like, for a very happy, upbeat episode, it does have like two kind of downer buttons there at the end between Bruce and Mordred. But there has to be a cost to this sort of villainy at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And I forgot this until I looked it up, but this is the last appearance of Morgan Le Fay and Mordred. This is the end of their arc in Justice League.
I mean, it makes sense. It's hard to come back from that.
Yeah, now he's just a sad old man.
Mm-hmm.
Sad old, perpetually dying man.
Yeah.
Ugh.
I know.
It's kind of gross. So you had a list you made.
Yes.
Of all of the Fountain of Youth episodes.
Not all. That
okay.
would be a long time. I picked my favorite ones.
Okay, your favorite ones. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
all right.
I'll start with the one that I know you have seen.
Yes.
Because of these shows, at least this one you've seen. But the Futurama Fountain of Youth episode.
Oh, yes.
Is so good and it's so sweet. Where they take Professor Farnsworth to go to like the aromatherapy planet.
Mm-hmm.
He goes into the tar pit that de-ages people. No. Is that the same? Yeah, that's the same episode.
I think so. Because he becomes... They're all getting younger continuously, right?
Yes.
Yes.
And so, yeah, then they have to go into like that swirling fountain thing at the end. And Zoidberg gets caught in the current and gets sucked to the end of his life. But then you learn it was just one of his brothers.
Oh, that's right.
In one of his molting stages.
That's right. Yeah.
But Futurama has a great one, which kind of lets... In a similar... like B romance arc is Fry and Leela get to date each other.
Oh, that's
kids.
right.
That's a very good one. One that I think most people have seen but probably don't remember is there's a Courage the Cowardly Dog Fountain of Youth episode where Muriel turns into a baby.
Muriel's the old lady?
Yes.
I've never seen Courage. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know how you would react to it.
Okay.
I don't like horror things, so I didn't watch it very much.
Okay.
But I remember this episode vividly because Muriel is just a little shit.
Oh, really?
And Courage is trying to Courage like trying to accommodate.
Yeah.
So she wants mac and cheese, and he keeps making her like very specific mac and cheese, and she keeps getting upset. Like, there's not enough cheese. There's too much pasta. There's not enough pasta. And then finally, when it's like it's perfect, she throws it in his face. That one's pretty good. Lilo and Stitch has this trope where there's an experiment named Babyface,
Mm-hmm.
not the singer. And Babyface is a good singer.
Yeah. I don't know what that is.
I'm trying to, I think I don't remember what his hit song is. He's kind of a one-hit wonder.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where it's the same trope of he turns all of the adults into kids, and Lilo now has to babysit baby Nani and baby Jumba and baby Pleakley.
Okay.
Which is mirrored in the Jackie Chan Adventures episode of the exact same concept where
Right.
the J-Team is... Because that one is specifically Fountain of Youth, where Jackie is protecting it from probably just the Dark Hand. And the entire J team gets shrunk, and then Jade has to become the parent.
Yeah.
But there's two that I really adore, both in the same show. I name dropped them at the beginning. Kids Next Door.
Right.
Which makes sense for that show because they're all about preserving youth and preserving childhood.
Yeah.
So there's one that is the Fountain of Youth. It is under their school, and the delightful children, the evil versions of them, are trying to destroy the fountain because they want to speed up everyone's aging. And then there's one girl who's been like tasked to protect the Fountain of Youth, who's been a child for decades. And the kids are trying to protect her and the Fountain of Youth.
Yeah.
And then all of the main members get turned into younger kids, and it's very cute. But the other one, which I love even more, because it was one of my first introductions to this idea, and it's a bit of a twist on it. But there's this villainous trio of teenagers that the kids next door, they can't stop. They're too good at what they do. But they keep stealing very weird things, and the final thing they steal is like this big truck of tapioca pudding. And what you find out is it's the kids' grandparents who have been using de-aging cream that has been mutated and turning them into teenagers to fight their own grandkids.
Oh my God.
And it's so cute. And it's so funny because you see them turn back into adults. And one guy has like this cool bow staff. And like you see his back hunch over and he puts the stick down and it turns into his walker. And he starts like hobbling towards the kids. And they create a giant mech using their like walkers put together.
Oh, I think I remember this episode.
It's so good and it's so well done.
I mean, that's such a thing that the Kids Next Door does so well, which is like have these really high stakes attached to the most ridiculous things. Like they're just trying to get a bunch of tapioca pudding.
Yeah, it's so good. But that is my list of kind of my favorite versions of this trope.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just like scrolling through the TV tropes thing. I mean, it's in everything, like 101 Dalmatians, Adventure Time, Puss in Boots, American Dad, Angry Beavers. The Brave and the Bold.
Yes, Brave and the Bold has a great one.
Yeah, Ben 10.
Fairly Odd Parents also has a great episode.
Oh, I think I remember that one. Yeah,
well, they also have two. Timmy wishes to become a baby to hide from the bully.
Oh, okay.
But then he realizes he can't make wishes because he can't talk anymore because he's a baby.
Oh,
so he's trying to spell out his wish.
Very smart. Yeah, Darkwing Duck, Dexter's Lab. I mean, it really just. I'm still in the D's here.
Yeah,
like
every cartoon.
Every cartoon has does,
and they're all good.
Family Guy, Futurama, Emperor's New School, Hercules, Jackie Chan, Jetsons, Johnny Bravo, Justice League. Oh, it just we can keep going. Kim Possible, My Little Pony, of course. Oh my God, so many. I mean, I guess that's the thing is like, I remember this being, oh my God, there's even one for Star Trek, the animated series?
Yep.
Of course there is. Of course.
Well, because there's even one, I think, for like
Teen Titans.
The live action Star Trek.
Probably, because I'm just looking at Western animation.
Yeah, that's what I
bet if I scroll up and I look at live action TV. The 4400, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Charmed, Doctor Who. What else we got? There's so many. Power Rangers, of course, Once Upon a Time.
But I mean, all these.
Smallville.
What was the Smallville one?
An old man takes a spill into the koi pond at his retirement home, which turns out to be lined with green rocks and makes him physically 50 years younger. Unfortunately, he turns out to be a sociopath with a long list of scores settled, and one of them is against the Kent family.
That's got to be from season 1.
I think so. Yeah. Here we go. Star Trek: The Next Generation, Supernatural, of course, did it. The Twilight Zone. Yeah. I mean, it's been done again and again and again. And I guess you're right. Like, I just remember this being done so often, but I don't ever remember feeling like these episodes were dumb. Like, they actually do kind of work.
Mm-hmm.
They usually have some sort of like fun thematic thing going on. It probably works less well in live action because this is a naturally just kind of silly thing, so it helps its animation.
Yeah. Well, and also, this is peak late 90s, early 2000s animation. So this is like back for kids cartoons.
Yeah, that's true.
And it makes sense to have this trope for kids animation. Like, you're watching adults do things for kids to look up to, and then you get to see the adults be the kids want to see.
Yeah. And of course, I just realized we're forgetting like the classic example of this. Big. I mean, it's a movie, not a TV show, but it's like, yeah, you're right. That's the whole movie is this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why don't we just call this the big trope?
Zoltar trope.
It's like
Zoltan? Zoltar?
no,
Zoltan.
I think Zoltar is big. Zoltan is Dude, Where's My Car?
Is that it?
Yeah, Zoltan.
Okay.
They did the little Z.
Then who's the villain from Space Coast?
I don't know.
I think that's also Zoltar.
It might be. I don't know. They all sound the same.
They do.
Zordon, Zoltan,
Well, Zordon is very different.
Zorg.
Zorro.
Yeah, it's all the same shit. So I'm looking at other ones. Oh, I mean, it's also a big part of Sky High as well.
Yeah. The Pacifier.
Good movie.
Great movie.
Wait, that's not on Disney Plus, is it?
Not yet.
How is that not on Disney Plus?
Great. Maybe they just added it. I think they might have just brought it on.
Okay, because I gotta watch that again. I've listened to it once years ago.
You've only seen. Oh wow, it's
Yeah.
incredible.
I know it is. I want to revisit it.
When I was in middle school, I'm sure I've told this story many a time.
I'm sure you have.
I was doing very bad in school, and my parents rightfully grounded me and removed all technology from my room, except I hid our portable DVD player under my pillow, and the only DVD I had in there was Sky High. So to fall asleep every night for like 6 months, I'd watch Sky High to go to bed.
Cameron, what I love is if this were to happen to you, no one would be able to tell the difference.
Yeah.
You would still be the exact same person.
And
I love you for
my
it.
beard would just suck in, and
Exactly,
that's the only
yeah.
change.
Yeah, it's like, oh, did you shave? Okay, yeah. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Oh my god. All right. I mean, any other thoughts on this episode, or just like this trope in general? How does this rank amongst your favorite TV tropes?
Oh, it's up there.
Yeah?
I think we've had that conversation before of like what are the best tropes.
I'm sure
And
we
it's
have.
such a big question.
I just forget everything we record.
Yeah.
So.
It's such an impossible question to answer off the top of your head.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's one of those, like, the second you're asked is the second you forget all of them.
All the rest of them, yeah.
Yeah. But I would say probably top 10.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
If I really want to drag you this podcast, I'd challenge you to name 9 others, but I'm not going to do that.
I could not.
So we're
at
not
this
going to do
moment.
it. We're not that good at improv. All right. Well, should we move on to some Hawk and Dove?
Yes, let's
then?
transition to Greek mythology.
All right. Yes. So in this episode, we get Ares, the god of war, gifts an unstoppable automaton called the Annihilator to a Kasnian freedom fighter in hopes of escalating a civil war. Wonder Woman, who's grown frustrated by man's hostility, recruits superpowered brothers Hawk and Dove to stop the Annihilator.
Yes.
So right off the top, the very opening sequence is Hephaestus. Yes, Hephaestus.
Mm-hmm.
Making what is essentially the same thing as the Devastator from the Thor movie.
Yep.
For Ares. Can you please explain to the class who is Hephaestus? Hephaestus?
Hephaestus.
Hephaestus.
Hephaestus is one of the central gods.
Okay.
But he was born kind of what's the word? Like misfigured.
Okay, yeah. He's notoriously ugly, right?
Yes. And so he's the outcast god.
Okay.
But with all this free time he has not being with the core 12, he became very good at blacksmithing.
Oh.
And so he creates the weapons of the gods. He's famously created Zeus's thunderbolt. He weirdly does not create anything for Ares because the two are actually like very feuding gods. They hate each other, which is why I think it's interesting that they made them friends here.
They're all brothers, right?
They're all related.
Okay.
Yeah, I think those two are technically brothers. 'Cause
Okay.
I think they're both spawns of Zeus.
Okay.
But Hephaestus is married to Aphrodite,
Mm-hmm.
and she was kind of cursed being his bride because she's famously the most beautiful of the goddesses. He's famously the ugliest.
The most ugly, yeah.
But she and Ares consistently have like a hookup on the side. And so one of the great stories is Hephaestus makes an unbreakable fishing net, which is later given to Poseidon. And he uses it to catch Ares and Aphrodite in bed, and he pulls them out and shows their naked deeds in front of the other gods for them to laugh at.
God. Now, here's the thing, though. These are famously hedonistic gods.
Yes.
I feel like they wouldn't laugh. I feel like they'd just watch.
Yeah.
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 I mean, some of them still cared about the idea of marriage. It's really just Zeus that didn't.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say Zeus definitely did it.
Yeah.
He's out there turning into swans and
Cows.
yeah. Oh God.
But also with this, because I was trying to think if there was ever like a famous suit of armor that Hephaestus created in mythology.
Yeah.
And the closest we can get is he created Achilles' armor. And so
Right.
that plays in because he makes a comment in this that everything he creates has a central flaw, which is the Achilles heel.
Right. He even says that Wonder Woman's has one, though he does not say what it is.
Yes.
Yeah.
I assume it's the BDSM one.
Sorry, what?
Do you know the original Wonder Woman? The way she lost her powers was if her hands were tied together behind her back.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah.
Okay, I just know that was it William Morstan something. The guy who created Wonder Woman was like famously into BDSM.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it just happened to work also in the comics.
Well, all these things often do.
Mm-hmm.
So.
It was the 40s, 50s.
Yeah, yeah. They were getting away with a lot of shit back then. Yeah, 'cause I didn't know if like the Annihilator was also
Not that I could find. I think that is
more of like a comic creation.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I know that the Devastator that's in the Thor movie, I think, was also used in a Thor comic, and it's probably one of those things that's been in comics for a long, long time. They just use it here, but it's the same idea. It's just a mindless automaton that follows directions. So yeah, Ares gifts it to one half of a Kazian civil war to kind of keep the war going, because his whole goal here is never explicitly stated, but it's heavily implied. He basically just needs there to be conflict in order to power himself.
Yes. Yeah, he's fueled by chaos and anger and war.
Yeah, and I did think that was clever that when we first see him, he's obviously in his suit of armor in the guise of a god. But then when we see him on Earth, he's just a weapons dealer, which makes perfect sense.
Absolutely.
That's what he should be doing. Because I was trying to remember if we had met him before, but it was Hades, if I recall, that was in Paradise Lost, the Justice League episode where Wonder Woman brings the League to Themyscira, right?
I think it was Ares.
No, I think it was Hades.
Okay.
Because I looked up.
Maybe I made a comment of like it should have been Ares.
Possibly, because it is Ares in the Wonder Woman movie.
Yes, played by Lupin.
Yes, by David Thewlis. Yes, but here it's Ares, and he only appears in this one episode.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So I think it was Hades that last time. So I feel like Hades makes a reappearance later on when there's a Justice League Unlimited episode, I think, that gets further into Wonder Woman's origin, if I recall.
Okay.
This all blends together.
It does.
A lot. But yeah, I mean, so is there anything worth covering on Ares himself?
Not really.
No, I feel like we kind of get it all there.
Yeah.
I did love that he's voiced by the great Michael York.
Oh, I missed that.
Who also voiced, I'm pretty sure he voiced Count Vertigo. In what was that episode called?
Oh God,
Vertigo.
I don't know. It was the
Off
first...
Balance? No. Vertigo?
No, well, because he's in 2 episodes. He says there's one, and then there's the one where he is with Talia.
So yes, he voiced Vertigo in Off Balance,
Nice.
and he voiced Dr. Montague Kane in Zatanna. He voiced Kanto in Superman Tools of the Trade, which was the episode where they're selling weapons. Apocalypse selling weapons to Cameron Manheim.
Got it.
And that's it. But those are all the Michael York appearances. Great Michael
Was
York.
Talia in Off Balance then?
Yes, at the very
Okay.
end. She saves
Yeah.
She saves him. She saves Bruce.
Okay.
At the very end of it. So, and then you probably didn't catch this. Did you catch who the voice of Hephaestus was?
I did not.
It's Ed Asner, aka the voice of Granny Goodness, aka Santa Claus in Elf, aka many things.
Many things.
Carl and Up.
Yeah.
He's great.
Amazing man.
I met him once actually.
Have you really? That's
yeah,
awesome.
we interviewed him for one of the shows I PA'd on.
Nice.
Nice guy. Yeah.
I'm sure.
Yeah, very nice guy. But yeah, so and then Wonder Woman has this kind of like little mini arc happening in this episode where is she just tired of dealing with the bullshit of mankind? I was a little bit unclear what she was upset about, but basically like, her rage is starting to come through.
Well, her opening line is, "It was her day off."
That's true. Yeah,
It's the clerk scenario of I wasn't even supposed to come in today.
Yeah, she was supposed to take the day off, and then she has to like stop a bank robbery from happening. But yeah, she like they keep alluding to her rage just coming through and her being like overly punishing of people. And is it that she's kind of started to become more quote unquote human, or is it she's just tired of dealing with man's bullshit? It felt a little bit soft in terms of what they're trying to convey. Maybe I just didn't get it.
I think it's more B, because
Okay.
there's in the Wonder Woman movie, not the animated one.
Right.
There's I think it's in that one. She has the line where she's like, I don't have the same rules as Superman. Like, she's okay killing.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was in that. It was in one of the animated movies.
Possibly.
They make that mark.
Okay.
But I mean, she's usually pretty fine with murder and death. I think it is just like dealing with the pettiness of humanity.
Yeah, because it's all, I guess maybe for her it all feels so trivial.
Yeah.
So she's kind of getting tired of having to deal with this sort of shit, and she just wants a little bit of a break.
It's supposed to be your day off, man.
It's supposed to be your day off.
I'd be pretty upset if I got called into work on the other side of the world to go to a civil war on my day off.
But so along the way, she picks up Hawk and Dove. Now, I don't really know much about Hawk and Dove, but you said you did a little bit of research on them.
Yes.
So what's their deal?
Great question. It's uncertain and unclear and makes no sense.
All right. I mean, it sounds like comics.
Yes. You want me to go into it now?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. Hank and Dawn,
Yes.
brothers.
Mm-hmm.
In the 60s, it was, peak war conflict going on in America.
Vietnam.
Yes. Hank is very conservative. Dawn is very liberal. The two brothers don't get along in the comic story. Their dad is a judge who there was a murder attempt on him, and the two brothers were very upset about that, and so they kind of went and tried to be their own vigilantes to figure out who has a hit on their dad.
Mm-hmm.
In the process, they immediately get caught by the criminal underworld, and before they're about to be killed, they finally agree that their purpose is to like protect their family.
Mm-hmm.
And in that moment, they start hearing voices. Hank hears the voice of this character named T'Char, who is one of the agents of chaos, and Dawn hears the voice of Tarataya, who's an agent of order. And these two have their own Romeo and Juliet story going on behind the scenes, where they're in a relationship when they're supposed to be mortal enemies. But they are giving them the powers of the hawk and the dove.
Okay.
And it is never explained what those powers are. They're just given generic superpowers.
I read it. I read a description of enhanced speed, strength, and agility, which is basically what we see them do in these episodes.
Yes.
This episode.
So I think that might be a more recent version.
Okay.
Because the original Hawk and Dove are murdered. I'm actually surprised they pulled this version, because Dove was killed in Crisis of Infinite Earths in 1985, and he wasn't resurrected until Brightest Day in 2010.
Oh, okay.
And Hawk was killed in a weird storyline.
They always are.
It was, I don't remember what the story arc was, but it was the twist on the villain was leaked on who it was, and so DC did a quick rewrite of it so it wasn't what the fans had found out, and so instead the villain of this arc was future Hawk, who'd gone so when Dove died, Hawk had nothing to keep him balanced, so he just became super aggressive, to the point where like a lot of heroes started to see him as like near villain. So they stopped working with him, which just made him more angry, very your Hulk scenario. And so in the story arc, it's a future version of Hawk that kills his past self, which I don't understand. But then also that version of Hawk didn't appear again until Blackest Night, which was after this episode.
Okay.
So we hadn't seen these characters in comics for over 10 years.
Oh, wow.
When this episode came out, which is really interesting that they pulled it, because there are 3 other iterations of Hawk and Dove.
Right, because there's the other one I know of is the one that's in Titans.
Yes.
Where it's Hank and then a female Dove whose name is Dawn as well,
Yes.
but Dawn.
Correct.
And they're in a relationship.
Yes.
At least that's the version in Titans. I don't know if that's the version in the comics.
That is how it worked after Dawn Hall died in Crisis. His power was transferred to Dawn Granger.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
I can only remember because not related to Hermione.
Right.
But they're not in a relationship in the comics.
Oh, okay. That was just for the show.
Yes. And that version of Dove is when she gets the super speed.
Oh, okay.
So the original Dawn Hall, I think, is just he might be a little bit faster, but he just has like rapid healing, and a little bit of super strength. Because they make a point of like she has no healing power; she just has speed.
Okay. My God, this is so confusing.
I know, and yeah, there's other versions I didn't want to get into because
Okay.
I just wanted to focus on these two.
Probably for the best.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I do find it kind of funny that when we meet them, they are about to get into a bar fight. Sounds like because Dawn has called out these guys on basically being shitheads.
Yeah, Proud Boys.
Essentially, yes. Pretty Proud Boys. And then, so Hank, like, begrudgingly is going to help defend him. And then right when they're about ready to get into the fight, they turn into their superhero alter egos. And then they basically become super bar fighters.
Yes.
And I thought that was just all kinds of weird.
I loved it.
Like, and no one at any point's like, hey, are you sure you should be in costume fighting dudes in a bar? Picking fights that you started?
Yeah, where you've already said your, like, identities out loud.
Yeah.
They know who you are. I mean, you don't need the costumes.
It felt weirdly non-altruistic for a superhero intro.
Mm-hmm. I think, but I don't know where else they could have done it.
Yeah, I suppose.
Because I feel like the way they did this animation for their transformation, it was Sailor Moon light.
Oh, it was.
Because also the costumes are just so, like...
ridiculous.
Yes.
Yes.
They're so cool. I love the look of them. But they're a little bit Sailor Scouty.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like one animator must have pitched, like, they do the bar fight at the end, and then Wonder Woman comes in. Is like, Hawk Dove, I need your help. And that's when they did the transformation, and it's the full, like, glove to chest emblem to glove
I wish they
sequence.
had.
I'm sure someone has.
I love it.
Well, someone's done that with Batman.
Have they?
Oh, I guess I never sent it to you. I think this might have been before we were friends.
Mm-hmm.
There's this beautiful animation of Bruce doing a Sailor Scout transformation into Batman.
That's fantastic.
And doing like the poses and everything. It's so good.
I'm here for it.
I will send it to you as soon as I find it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because Wonder Woman like picks him up and drags him out to Casnia, and then there, basically Hank is like, all right, we're gonna get into the fight, and Dawn's like, no, we're gonna try and find a peaceful solution. So he goes to try and kidnap the two leaders of the opposing sides to force them to have a conversation, and that never comes to fruition.
No,
They never actually talk.
Well, I think because it's what, South versus North.
Yeah.
The southern one is the one that's taken over by Ares.
The one who's given the Annihilator by Ares, yeah.
Yes. So he doesn't have the chance because the southern leader's already, I assume, dead, right? Before Hank can
Well, but
get them.
there is a general to each side.
Yes.
Yeah, there's the guy who has the Annihilator and the guy who has the big handlebar mustache.
Mm-hmm.
They never actually talk. Like, there's an attempt to kind of like capture the two of them, but they never actually have a conversation, right?
Right.
Okay, I have to admit, I was like almost falling asleep while I was watching this. So
Okay, so
I may have missed something.
Ares having a conversation with the southern general.
Yeah.
And the southern general basically says, like, no, we did what we needed to do.
Right.
We're not here for war. We're just here to keep our people safe.
Mm-hmm.
And Ares doesn't want any of that. And I think he just kills the southern general and takes his place.
Oh, that's right, he does.
So he doesn't have the chance to. They don't have the chance to have that conversation.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, okay, that's fair.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because like plot thread basically goes nowhere up until Wonder Woman realizes that the weakness, if you want to call it that, in the Annihilator armor is that it's fueled by rage. So if we all stop having rage, it'll just stop.
If we all just be friends.
Yeah.
It's every parent's dream. If we can all just hug it out.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, the whole theme here is, it is a quest for peace, not to just quote the title of the fourth Superman film. The worst one. Nah, wait. Nah, 3 is probably the worst one. Doesn't matter.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, like, that's the whole point.
Richard Donner just passed away.
I know. Oh, it's so sad.
Mm-hmm.
Man, he did so much stuff.
Yeah.
Beyond Superman. He was also like the producer on most of the X-Men movies, too.
He was in Goonies.
So he directed
did
Goonies.
He did, yeah.
He directed
Not
Goonies,
in
yeah.
Goonies.
Yeah. Goonies is okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You don't think it holds up?
I watched it for the first time a few years ago. I'm like, I like this.
Okay.
But I don't know. Maybe I should have seen it as a kid.
I think it's very much like a kid movie.
Yeah. I was like, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll have this conversation off air. But I want to know, like, what do you think are the kids movies that hold up the best?
Oh, okay. That's a long conversation. So,
Yes.
Yeah. What was I going to say?
Quest for peace.
Quest for peace. It's basically just a quest for peace, and then eventually everyone lays down their arms, and the annihilator stops, and then Ares like, "Well, I have nothing here. No."
Yeah, very begrudgingly, because the twist moment or the climax moment is the one soldier slapping Wonder Woman and saying, "I don't take orders from women."
Yeah,
And
it's kind of a lot.
yeah, because that's really pushing her buttons. Like,
Yeah,
I think she can get one more punch in before peace.
I think so. I think she.
I think
should
she
have.
earned. I think she's
should
deserved
have.
one more punch before she goes
Yeah.
for peace.
Or better yet, take that guy, pick him up, and then just throw him with all of her might, so he's so far away that his rage will not affect the annihilator.
Yes, as long as she does it with a smile.
Exactly.
It's okay.
It's bringing her joy to throw him away.
Yeah.
So it's not rage. It's fine.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Maybe because kid stuff was so fun, I found this one just a little bit generic.
I don't know how. Yes, I agree. This episode for me. Do you ever have those shows back in the syndication days where like when you turn the TV on, it was always the same episode?
Yeah.
That was this for me.
Oh,
in
really?
JLU. This episode was always on,
Huh.
and I don't know why. But I think I've just seen it too much.
Okay.
Where there's nothing that really happens post, like, you know, there's the great moment of Wonder Woman going to Hephaestus, and him not saying but hinting at the weakness of the armor. But yeah, there's nothing really that happens beyond that.
No.
And I wonder if we're so, because I mean the last week's episodes were great, but I wonder if we're so used to the 2-parters and 3-parters we got of Justice League that we want these like deeply fleshed out episodes now.
I think more for me, it's not necessarily that I want the deeply fleshed out episodes, as I want the fun one-offs.
Yes.
Or, I mean, not that the Man Who Has Everything is super fun necessarily, but I guess I want really impactful one-off episodes, and that's what I remember most. What I remember most about JLU from when I watched it 20 years ago was the like serialized storytelling of the Cadmus arc, and then the random fun episodes. So that's basically describes season 2 and season 1 respectively of the whole series. But it's stuff like The Man Who Knows Everything, which is a very self-contained, really great story, or the Kid Stuff episode, which is just super fun, or next week we're gonna get this little piggy and the Galatea episode. It's like this one, I guess, to me, just there was nothing super memorable about it other than it introduces Hawk and Dove. But even then, like, I don't find them super interesting.
Yeah.
As a dynamic.
So Teen Titans had aired at this point, right?
Yeah, that was
around this point.
Yeah, around this time.
So Hawk and Dove, at least this version of Hawk and Dove, were almost always teamed up with the Teen Titans and becoming members of Teen Titans West in the comics.
Oh, okay.
So I'm curious why they were in this show and not in that show, because I feel like they would have been great for Teen Titans. Because then you have kind of Robin is a little more hot-headed in that version of the story. So I think him with Hawk could have been really interesting. And then maybe Dove with Raven, where
trying to find peace.
Yeah, or it's peace, but she sees peace as like being purely emotionless, where he's like, no, you have to like use your emotion to fuel the peace.
Yeah, that could have been a good episode.
And then, like Starfire being with that. Yeah, I think that could have been a really interesting Titans episode. Here, I just don't think it had that same. I think it is because Wonder Woman's story, it's very little changes.
Yeah, I just don't think
she just learns not to hit.
Not to hit people as much. Yeah, it didn't have any really good thematic resonance to it in any sort of way, and nothing really stood out. I mean, it's fine. It's just like I'd say of the 4 we've watched so far, it's the weakest. But even then, it's still good.
Yeah, it's still so much fun.
Yeah, it's still fine. But yeah, I was just kind of like, and maybe it's too because like my most recent experience talking Dove would have been in Titans, and although I've stopped watching that because it's just stupid and
season 3
insane.
comes out in 3 weeks.
I watched the trailer. I'm like, cool. I'm not gonna watch it. But like I thought they did a pretty good job with those two, and I couldn't help but as I'm watching like the animated version of Hawk, I'm like,
you just want Alan Rickman
or not Alan Richardson, but I was like Alan Richardson, like man, he was the perfect casting choice for that. God, he's so good.
Yeah.
He's just so good.
What a man.
Oh, what a man. But yeah, there is one fun little thing though
Oh.
with Hawk and Dove. So famously, the characters here are voiced by the brothers from the Wonder Years.
Yes, I did catch that.
Yes.
That is wonderful.
So it's Fred Savage and Jason Hervey. The big difference here, though, is they've swapped personas, essentially, which I guess was a choice made by the actors themselves. It's kind of like subvert the expectations. So in this case, Fred Savage is playing Hank, like the big, muscular, tough guy, and Jason Hervey is playing the more like refined, contemplative, emotional one. It's kind of a fun little dynamic they throw in there. A little bit of stunt voice casting, which is always appreciated.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I thought overall, it's okay.
Yeah.
It's just okay.
Yeah, it's a tangential question of the week that we don't have to answer.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd be curious for other people. Just like, what is that syndicated show where you turn it on and it's always the same episode? Like, what was that episode for you?
Yeah. I'm trying to remember. I think because it's the only episode of SpongeBob I ever remember watching. It's the episode where they're on the Flying Dutchman.
Oh, great episode. Great one.
I think it's the only episode I've ever actually seen in its entirety. And it's just because every time I turn the TV on, that's what it was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess that's the second appearance of the ghost. So it's the one where they're on the boat, not the one where they're hunting for the treasure.
No, it's the one where they're on the boat.
Okay. That's the Leedle episode.
Maybe all I know is that they're trying to navigate their way through like some through some coral, and SpongeBob's like, "You're good.
Yep.
You're good." And just the sides of the thing are getting scraped off. You're good.
Yeah, they join the Dutchman's crew.
Yes, exactly.
Because I think they're cursed.
Yes.
But the curse is that the Dutchman has to deal with them now.
Has to deal with them. Yeah. East. I thought you said we.
That's a different episode.
That's a different episode.
That's had to make sure because that's the Dutchman's treasure episode.
Oh, I guess I have seen both of those then.
Yes.
Okay. That's it.
Because they're given 2 gold blooms, and Mr. Krabs is given a replica toy chest of the treasure.
Such a weird show.
It's incredible.
Oh, it's such a weird show. All right. Any other thoughts on this?
I think we covered my beats. We did Greek mythology lesson. We did weird origin of the Romeo and Juliet chaos and order. It's so weird. Like, what was they're also created by Steve Ditko, which I thought was really cool. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's pretty much everything I wanted to talk about.
All right. Well, then let's do some plugs real quick. Cameron, what are your bat plugs for the week?
I have a new one and an old one. I think you've already watched the show.
A new plug and an old plug.
Yes.
Yes.
I think you've watched this show, but I finally caved because there's a giant billboard for season 2 outside my apartment. I finally watched Ted Lasso.
That was my plug this week.
Oh my god, it's incredible.
I just watched
Holy shit.
I watched the entire thing last weekend.
Yes.
In one sitting, practically.
That is one of the most charming shows I've ever seen in my life.
It is. It's just like it's so positive and uplifting and inspirational. Like, you finish an episode and you're like, where can I go? What situation can I put myself in where I can go be nice to somebody?
Yes.
I just want to go be nice.
I that is like, after seeing that show, I'm like, oh, that's what I want to be.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I've been trying to be.
Yeah. That's all I'd heard about that show. Is everyone's like, oh, it's so uplifting. It's totally worth watching. I'm like, okay, get to it. I'm like, okay, I'll just go ahead and sit down and watch it. And you're right. It's just like, it's just so nice.
Yes.
It's so heartwarming.
I would say, if you haven't watched it now, just go in blind. Just start watching it.
Yeah.
Apple TV is free for a year right now.
Is it?
Yeah.
It is?
It was for me.
Oh, shit. I mean, I got it for free because I bought a phone.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so mine was free for a year, and then other than that, it's like $5 a month.
Yeah, something like that.
So go check it out right now. I got my parents to watch it. They both fell in love with it.
Yeah.
It's just a great show for everyone who's probably over like 15.
Yeah. It's really refreshing.
Not that it's like dirty or raunchy. Just like,
No.
I feel like anyone under 15 wouldn't like appreciate the humor.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, like, someone asked me, is it wholesome? I'm like, I guess. I mean, like, it's still a as we would call it, soccer, but a football club in the UK. Like, there's still swearing and stuff like that. But it handles adult things. But I guess it's wholesome in the sense that it's a bunch of people who are at least attempting to be accountable for their behavior. And, Ted is this relentlessly optimistic person, but the show goes the effort of showing that's not easy thing to do. Mm-hmm. It requires a lot of work, and it's hard work. but it's just nice to see a show where like people will be called out for their behavior and acknowledge they did it and apologize for it.
Yeah.
It's the most,
And that being okay. And
it
like
being okay,
that
yeah.
ending the situation.
Yeah, it's just like, okay, like you have apologized and I've forgiven you, and we move on.
Yes, like I understand that you are going through shit and you're not thinking clearly, and
Yeah.
that is okay.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck, like I want that kind of hug.
Right? It's everyone's just so like empathic and so lovely.
Mhm.
And it also is funny.
Yes.
Too. It is also genuinely like funny and sweet. And it's never mean-spirited in its humor,
Mhm.
which is rare for an American show.
Right.
Yeah.
Which I had to double check because it's created by
Bill Lawrence.
Yes, also famous for Scrubs.
Yes.
And a couple other shows, but mostly Scrubs.
Yeah.
I thought with how the humor was set up, I thought this was done by the same people that did Sex Education.
Okay, yeah, that's fair.
It has that like wholesomeness to it.
Yeah, that sort of tone.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it is a comedy, but it's not a comedy
Not
like
charm, not wholesomeness.
Right, charm, yeah, but
Yeah.
it's not a comedy like you expect it to be.
Right.
Yeah. Like the jokes kind of come naturally from the situation rather than feel like they're forced in there.
Mm-hmm.
It's just so cute.
Yeah, and especially being a Midwest boy,
Oh, yeah.
I have a lot of people that I wish were more like Ted Lasso.
More like Ted Lasso.
My uncle is kind of like that. He has the mustache.
Yeah. It's just
Yeah,
it's like a warm cup of tea.
but tea's bad.
Well, according to him, I love tea.
Mhm.
But yeah.
Yes. Okay. I'm glad that we have both.
That's so funny.
'Cause
Yeah.
I thought you plugged it like
No.
a year ago.
I had never watched it because I was like, I'm not going to get Apple TV. What's the point? And I've had Apple TV Plus for almost 6 months, and eventually like, oh, I should probably watch the things I want to watch on it while I still have it for free.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Yeah. I watched that. I watched the first episode of Mythic Quest. And
Okay.
It's okay.
it's not enough my wheelhouse. I think I'm going to watch For All Mankind, which is
Mhm.
like the alternate history space race because I love both those
Oh,
things so
nice.
much. So I'll probably end up watching that as well. And then I really want to watch Schmigadoon.
Yes, I was gonna say Schmigadoon.
Yeah,
And
did you
then
watch it?
I have not yet.
Okay, yeah, I want to watch that one.
There's the other one that's about the like dance instructor.
Oh, Physical
Yes.
with Rose Byrne.
That's who it is. Okay,
Rose
I
Byrne. Yeah.
couldn't place the face fast enough when I was watching the trailer.
And I am interested in that one because the director in that is Craig Gillespie, who did I, Tonya and also Cruella.
That's right.
Yes. So I recently watched Lars and the Real Girl, which is one of his first films, which is really, really good too.
Okay.
So I'm like kind of intrigued with that one just because as a director I'm really fascinated by his work. So I'm gonna watch that one.
So I guess we're just plugging Apple
I would
TV.
just God damn it. We've become Apple shills.
Oh, damn
Or
it.
as you would say, shells.
Shells. Yes.
All right, so that was our communal plug. What was your other one?
I watched the new Space Jam.
Oh, that's right. Why
Yes,
not even
A
ask
New
that?
Legacy.
I knew that was your plug. How was it? Oh.
Chris,
Oh.
I didn't like it.
Wow.
It hurts. It hurts a lot when you go into something and you want to like it so badly. I want to like this movie so much, and I just don't.
I didn't know you were capable.
I didn't know I was either.
It's a live action animation hybrid. It's your favorite thing.
It is my genre.
Yeah.
I almost went back and rewatched Roger Rabbit afterwards just to like cleanse myself.
So what about it was a letdown for you?
The biggest part for me is the 3D animation.
Okay.
There's a moment when the game starts and Don Cheadle like does something on the court and every 2D character suddenly becomes 3D and they don't look good.
Oh, okay.
The tunes don't look good, but also the characters in the background that should have stayed 2D because it is just a smorgasbord of HBO Max propaganda.
Yeah.
Some of it is very cool, and so you can see like the Mystery Machine in one corner, and you see that gang, and they're parked next to the Flintstones gang, and then on another seating area, you see like the Jetsons family sitting with what's the dog, Blue Falcon, and Astro Mutt. Dino Mutt, thank you.
Yes.
They're sitting in the other corner together, and you just see like every Hanna-Barbera character is in the audience. You see Jabberjaw next to Magilla Gorilla and the Pussycats, and it's like it's beautiful to see that, but they're all in such bad, like rendered 3D. I couldn't enjoy it. if they stayed 2D, I'd been perfectly fine with that
Okay.
ending sequence. I think they're trying to take it too serious, which you can't with this kind of movie.
No.
They try to put too much heart into it because it's about trying to save his son who's
Right.
been absorbed into the game. LeBron James, I forgot his name for a second. And his their arc together is like the son doesn't want to play basketball, but LeBron James, who grew up only knowing basketball, won't let his sons do anything else.
Oh, okay.
And so it's like letting his kid be a kid. Which good message. Don't put it in my Space Jam movie.
Don't put your messages in this commercial.
Yeah.
This Warner Brothers commercial.
It is an HBO Max commercial.
Yeah.
Act 2, I'll say was the best for me.
Okay.
That is just
of the 2 acts, that was the best of them.
Of the 3 act structure. Because Act 2 is them trying to get the Looney Tunes back together.
Okay.
So basically, Bugs' plot. I'm just gonna spoil the whole movie because whatever. It's Space Jam.
Yeah.
When Don Cheadle started running the server where all HBO Max's content lives, the Warner server, which they named the Warner server, all the Looney Tunes basically fled to other stories because they wanted to experience other things and left Bugs in Looney Tune land. And so Bugs is tricking LeBron into going and rounding up all of his friends so they can go back to Looney Tune land. He doesn't want to play in the game.
Okay.
And that part is the fun part where you see them messing up other movies.
Okay.
And ones that I wasn't even expecting to see. There's an Austin Powers moment where they use footage from the original Austin Powers.
Really?
Yeah, it's the Mini-Me reveal. And the door slides. You see Seth Green and Dr. Evil, and the door slides open. And instead of Mini-Me coming out, it's Elmer Fudd dressed as Dr. Evil.
That's pretty great.
Doing the pinky thing.
Yeah.
It's so cute. You have that. You have Granny doing Matrix.
Oh, I've seen that in the trailer.
Yeah, that was in the trailer. Lola going through the Wonder Woman trial from Wonder Woman 84, the best part of that movie.
Right.
The opening sequence.
Yeah.
And Bugs and LeBron just trying to mess her up the entire time because they don't want her to become a Themysciran.
Okay.
It's great. And the animation is done by the same team that did Teen Titans Go to the Movies.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, so it's that very fun. And you see that it's the Bruce Timm Superman you see as well.
I've seen this last week some screenshots of there's they're going through Metropolis and a train sequence, something like that, and there's Clark Kent and Lois and Jim Gordon are on a train platform, and there's another shot of the Justice League assembled on a roof.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and fucking Rick and Morty are in it for a quick second.
Oh,
which
yeah,
is
I guess.
They kind of threw everything at you.
Well, of course they did.
Yeah, because it's an advertisement.
Yeah. So it sounds like this might be even more blatant than Ready Player One was.
It was. To the point where I'm pretty sure they just reused the assets. I think that movie didn't take off the way they wanted, and they put too much money in building all the models, especially the Iron Giant model. And so they're just put it in something else.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, I at no point have I ever been this looks good or interesting, and I had no intention of seeing it. I definitely don't need to now, which is great.
Yeah, you don't. See, I think if you can find the those 5-minute clips of them going through movies, that's the only thing you need to see.
Okay, well, it's also on HBO Max. Literally just fast forward to that point.
Yes,
and just watch through all of that.
And it also with the whole Casablanca thing, I'm a little upset they took that out. I mean, I'm very upset they took that out because there was a.
Was there a piece that was supposed to be in Casablanca?
Yes, because that was the Pepe Le Pew moment.
Oh, okay.
He was flirting with
Ilsa?
Yes.
Ilsa Lund?
Yes, at the bar.
Okay, I would have liked to see that. I also kind of understand why they did. Pepe Le Pew is a problematic character at best.
But you have to acknowledge it. It's them just taking it out means they're not acknowledging
Well, yeah, I mean, if
the problem.
Yeah, which I think some studios will just choose to do that.
Yes.
So, which fair.
Yeah, I mean, as a Disney whore, no company does that better than Disney.
That's true. Yeah.
So I understand.
What do you mean? What is Song of the South? We don't know what this is.
I've never heard of that.
Never heard of it. What Splash Mountain's from it? I have no idea what you're talking about.
You mean Princess and the Frog Mountain?
Yeah. No idea what you're referring to.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, the movie, like I said, I want to like it. I really do. It's great for kids. I think, like, if you have a kid or like a niece or a nephew or a cousin, take them because it's a great kids movie.
Mm-hmm.
But it is not. They might have the nostalgia for it that we have for the original Space Jam, but I think the original one is just infinitely better.
Okay, which is kind of a pretty low bar, to be
Yes.
honest. Yeah. All right. Well, good. I don't have to see it. Fantastic.
Yeah, and now neither does anybody else.
Great.
Go see Black Widow instead. It's better.
Oh, Black Widow is better. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fun. Yeah.
We should have talked about that.
We probably should have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, later.
Yeah. Black Widow's fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Came out too late.
It did.
Yeah.
Yeah. It should have come out right after Civil War.
Yes.
Would have been better. Exact same movie came out of Civil War. Would have liked it more.
Mm-hmm.
I still liked it though.
Well, the Weekly Planet made a good comment of what if it came out between Infinity War and Endgame.
Oh,
with the
yeah.
way the
With the button.
post credit scene.
Yeah.
That would have been crazy.
Yeah, probably would have been. I still think it would have been better if it had come out right after Civil War. I think it still would have been the best timing for it.
Absolutely.
And then obviously, you could have to do a different button on the end. But no, I had a fun time with it.
Me too.
It's basically like a Mission Impossible movie on a Marvel level, a
Yeah.
Marvel scale.
Yeah, Marvel's getting really good at just copying other franchises.
Yeah.
With Doctor Who Loki.
Exactly. I will say this. It felt the least Marvel-y of a Marvel film in a long time, in a good way. And if that's an indication of where Phase 4 is going, is that it's going to feel more standalone and it's going to lean more heavily into genre and be a little more individually distinct, then that's exciting for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know, especially with that after Loki. Like, I've made the comment to a few friends, like, how the fuck do we go from what we just saw to Hawkeye?
Yeah, I know. Oh my gosh. Oh, I have thoughts on Loki too, but we're
out of time.
I know, yeah. I will say this overall. Loki,
I liked it.
Yes,
I really liked it.
kinda. A lot of treading water in that episode, or the shows, in that show.
I think it's
Until the
just
end.
setting up.
Yeah,
a lot.
yeah. So,
Yeah.
All right, but I only have one more quick plug, and it's actually a guest appearance.
Oh.
I was on the I Do Remake podcast with Sam Gash,
Oh.
friend of the show, former guest of the show.
I was talking with Sam yesterday.
He's just a delight.
He is.
He might be the closest real person I know to like a Ted Lasso.
Yes.
He's just the nicest person.
Mm-hmm.
I love him to death. But I was on I Do Remake, and we covered the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Ooh.
Yes, that League of Extraordinary Gentlemen from 2003. The movie so bad it forced Sean Connery into retirement.
I have never seen it.
You're not really missing out.
Okay. It's on my list. I want to see it because I've heard that from so many people.
It's bad.
Is it like fun bad or like bad bad?
I'll say this.
Like, could this be a BFC movie?
Yes.
Okay.
It would be a good Burger Fan Club movie. Something dumb to put on and watch and kind of make fun of. Because I will say this. I saw it as a kid and liked it because in 2003 I had terrible taste in film.
Mm-hmm.
Who am I talking to on that? Honestly,
I had just watched Tokyo Drift.
You love Tokyo Drift. Who am I talking to? I had fun rewatching it now as an adult.
Okay.
It is so dumb, but I will say this: the concept is really, really good, and some of the production design of the movie is really good, and maybe the first half is not bad, but certainly the latter half is. Most of the acting is pretty terrible. There's a good reason Shane West never did anything else ever again, but it was a fun concept to then try and find a way to do as a remake. We had a really fun time in that conversation, so
Nice.
it's worth checking out. Yeah, and so that episode is now out as of the time this drops. So go check it out, and then also go watch Black Widow.
Yeah, it's good.
It is good, and watch Loki too. It's good.
Yes.
Slash, you'll need to watch it.
But Ted Lasso first.
But yes, above all else,
Well, because season 2 is next week.
yes. Well, actually, when this comes out that week.
Season 2
possibly.
is this week.
This week, maybe. Or it's already out. Who knows?
It's episodic.
Yes.
So it's
It will
at a
be
time.
week to week, yes. Whenever this episode drops, Ted Lasso comes out on the 23rd of July. So
There we go.
go with that. But yeah, above all else, go watch Ted Lasso. It'll just inspire you to go be nice to people.
Yeah.
great.
And we need a lot of that right now.
We really, really do.
Mm-hmm.
So go do that. But yeah, I think that does it for us.
I think we did it.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you as always for listening. If you want to reach out to us, you can find us at Timm Talk Pod on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Gmail.
Yes.
You can find me at Lordifer.
What was that?
Lordifer.
Lord of Four?
Lordifer.
Mm-hmm.
Lord O Fur.
Yes.
I'm pretty much on Instagram. That's it.
Great.
Yeah.
If you want to see my face, you can find that at camdexter_adventures. And if you want to see my art, you can find that at cameron.dexter.
Yay!
I have a music video coming out soon.
That's right, you do.
Yeah.
You survived.
It's still in the process.
Okay.
I also had a music video come out when we were on hiatus.
That's right, you did. Yeah.
Go watch "Starting Now" by Brandy.
Yeah.
The video.
Send me those links. I'll put them in the show notes.
Yeah.
Yeah. You'll never send them to me. I'll have to hunt them down.
No, I won't.
Yeah, I'll go hunt them down. But yeah, so our next episode will be, as we mentioned, This Little Piggy. Very,
Incredible.
very excited for that.
We've been boasting about this episode for years.
Long time. And then also Fearful Symmetry, a.k.a. the Galante episode,
Yes.
which is a pretty important episode in the overall arc of the DCAU. Very much looking forward to both of those. But yeah, that's it for us this week. Thanks for listening, everyone.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Da, 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 da.
Bum, 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 ba, 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 ba,
Bow,
bum,
bow,
bum,
bow,
bum, ba, 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 bum.
bow, bow.
Beautiful.
It's awful. I love it.